This is such a strange concept. They have a video rental store here, which obviously I'm not going to rent anything, but I'm going to check it out. What's up, Internet? This is a continuation on our New York adventure to Niagara Falls. This is all the game hunting we did in Niagara Falls and on the way back. First up here, we're at this family video store, which reminds me a lot of Hollywood Video from back in the day. At the time of walking through, I didn't notice that some of these games are actually purchasable. You'll notice some of them have price tags like next to them, like that. Buy it for $19.99 Batman Arkham whatever game, Arkham Knight. Unfortunately, none of these had any decent prices. They were all a little bit above GameStop. So obviously not purchasing anything. It was more just a nostalgia trip to see a rental store, which apparently isn't uncommon in New York, according to the guy that worked here. The most interesting part about that, which I had unfortunately stopped recording by then, but the guy that I talked to in there seemed very surprised that in Connecticut we don't have rental places anymore. It's like two worlds colliding, where I'm surprised that they have rental places up here. He thinks the opposite. Like, he knew about Blockbuster going out, but surprised no mom and pop stores do it just like this. So that's crazy to me. They did have a few things for sale in there, but their lowest price was like $9.99, and it was on stuff like Nights into Dreams for the Wii, which you can literally get for less than $1 at any GameStop. So not really worth it. Here we're taking a look inside UIE Games. Honestly, their prices weren't that great. Taking a look at Rival Turf, I like checking out games I already have at video game stores to kind of gauge how their prices are going to be. $5 for Rival Turf is not bad, but like I said, I already have it. But for those of you that don't, I highly suggest it. As usual, checking out the NES games. Unfortunately, as with most common games, I already have them, but never hurts to look. Prices aren't incredibly enticing in the store, as I mentioned before. Can't go into a retro video game store without checking out the case. Gotta see what their best items are. Got some interesting action figures down there. The Sega Genesis that turns into a Megatron. Some terrible filming by me. Some Breath of Fires. Some Final Fantasies. Some Grand Theft Auto London. Grandia. Wipeout makes their case. Interesting. Magic cards. Not that interesting to me anymore. What else do we got? N64 stuff, don't care. NES games, $34.99 for Link's Adventure. Sold 2. What I thought was interesting is the fact that they have tons of Dr. Marios in the case, and not at a good price. Yeah, not going to be getting anything here, unfortunately. It's an interesting enough store. It's just pretty overpriced. I don't know if that's also from last time we were in New York. I don't know if it being New York just like feeds into that. Like when we went to New York City and everything was way overpriced. They had Dr. Mario's in the case for like either 15 or 20, which is a crazy price for that. It's like a $5 to $10 game where I'm from. The lowest price I saw on anything in there was like $3 for silver. Fast forward to tomorrow. On the way home, we stop at the first of a planned 3 Pastime Legend stores. Unfortunately, it is the first and only one we were able to make it to due to time constraints, but definitely cannot complain at all about this store. Now, of course, some of their prices aren't great, but they're a retro video game store. Their stock is insane, as we see here. Can't complain about this. Although I will say, later in this video, there is a store that one-ups them in this very video, as far as stock is concerned. But check it out, the NES games they have in the case. Nothing that catches my eye other than that Clue Land. I don't remember what price they had on it. I believe it was above $20 though, which is more than I'd probably want to spend at this juncture. Let's see what else they have. One of my favorite systems to look for out in the wild, especially in a retro video game store, is the Sega Genesis. Unfortunately, not seeing anything here that's catching my eye. Nothing that I don't already have. Like, they did have Fantastic Dizzy, Subterranea, Terraria. I don't remember how it's said. Let's check out the loose Nintendo cartridges, see if we can find any gold amongst them. Holy shit, it's like a Turtles pachinko game. Like where you drop a little thing in there. I don't know what it does. I've never seen that before. That's really cool. Their prices are actually really good for New York. Like, surprisingly good. Hey, look at this. Earth Defense Force. The original, I think. I'm gonna get that. And I appreciate that they've accurately priced NHL 94 at more expensive than all the other NHL games. Don't have to flip out. What the hell is this? Power Pigs of the Dark Age. I have never heard of this game whatsoever. It's also dirty as fuck. Rap Jam. Volume 1, buy that for $4. RoboCop versus the Terminator. Did you know that was a thing? You fight against Terminators as RoboCop. Yeah, that's right. Now that I'm down here, too lazy to get back up. So I'm looking at stuff from afar. Did you hear that? That was my knee. Immortal. It's the game I could have had at a garage sale for probably $1 in the box. The educational Mario games. King of the Ring. Mad Max. What the difference is. Label bad. I have that one already. And the labels check. Oh, I wish this werewolf had a better label. One game I've been looking for.
sent it in, sent it back to people and play it for a couple days and do the same thing. Send it out, send it back, send it out, send it back. Because, you know, they actually lost a lot of money the first year. Because so many red rings the first year. Crazy. You know, they had a quality assurance, but so many were getting sent back. They got over. Yeah, either way, they would have lost money. Mm-hmm. So
that's why I prefer the PS.
Same. Yeah, I'm PlayStation.
It's
always have been.
I mean, they do have a tendency to overheat depending on the kind that you get, but it's not that hard of a fit.
Historically, I've had some luck catching game stores and pawn shops slipping as far as DS prices go, and that trend is going to continue here with a $25 Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, which is actually the same price I got it for at a pawn shop that I have locally, and I'll pick it up for that price any day. Game regularly goes for about $45 to $50, sometimes a little bit more, depending on condition. This Michael Jackson The Experience, however, that Alicia's trying to get me to buy as a recouper, not worth it at about $10. $32.
One decided that my Nintendo was hungry and decided to eat peanut butter sandwich.
We were also every time
Your sister decided it was hungry and fed it a bowl of spaghetti.
Hey, at least it was better than turning it into a piggy bank.
That was your brother.
Yep. We were all younger than 10. We couldn't help it. We were children. We didn't know any better. Now, the first system I actually got was the Game Boy.
Some interesting conversation here that other customers are having about children turning systems into piggy banks slash food depositories.
It's so tempting. A hole in it. We gotta shove them. Coins. I've gotten so many systems with coins in them.
Yeah, well, the peanut butter sandwich bit was a bit much.
I'm eyeballing all these boxed games they have behind the counter because I'm wondering if they're actually complete. Now, part of me is hoping that they aren't, because there are some that I would like for my collection. And depending on the price, I could walk away with a pretty cool pickup here. Let's see what they say. Yeah, can I see some of these box games you have here for the Super Nintendo?
Which one?
Yeah, Super Mario RPG. You know what the price is on this?
I believe it was around 120 the last time I checked. Okay. 255.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it dipped in February and it just shot back up, but it was even higher before. It was.
Now, are all these games in there, or any of these
Most
just
of them,
boxes?
some of them have just boxes, but if it's a more common that you need just the box for, I could, depending on which ones they are, I could separate them.
Do you know which ones just have a box? It's
No.
like this man read my mind.
I know that the Super Mario 3 is just a box.
How much would you be asking for that one?
That's like $15.
15?
Yeah. It's a common. It's
Yeah.
not hard to find.
The one I have is missing the top.
Oh, they just the tab.
Got the savers and like all the boxed NES games they had, all the tops are off. Those all came from the same family.
That's weird.
That decided that was the best way to open games,
Just
and
rip
yet
off
didn't
the
throw
top.
them out.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
throw them out.
that's
Just
interesting.
rip the top off. You know, it was a clean cut.
Well, maybe that was like they had them in a box, you know, and this must be the other kind. This kind of shot. But it's I would be willing to separate it either way. But maybe they had them in a box so that you could just grab them, you know.
Yeah, anything's possible, but Just thought it was weird that everything that came from there was like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely take that for 15 if you're willing to do that. Get an upgrade.
Yeah, most Mario games, you'd think they'd be more, but they're all around $30 for the original ones. RPG is just, you know, a whole other ballgame. But
Yeah. Well, it's an RPG, so.
Yeah.
Here we are at J Street Video Games. It's in the mall here in a town that I don't remember the name of currently. However, I know for a fact I will be here many times in the future because this store is fucking awesome. You'll see why. Absolutely the most stacked cases I've ever seen at a retro video game store. You name it, they have it. Pretty much. Pretty much. I'm not doing a great job filming because I am holding a conversation with the dude, I believe. But this case, not as good as the case right next to it. I'll get over to it eventually. Eventually. Here we go. Got Shatterhand there. Godzilla 2. Gargoyle's Quest. Swamp Thing, which I used to have. Battletoads Double Dragon. Down below, Flintstones. Casual Flintstones. Metal Warriors. Fucking Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. Tournament Fighters on the NES. Wayne's World on the NES. Some boxed NES games. Boxed Super Nintendo games. Demon Crest in the box. Super Mario RPG in the box. Absolutely stacked video game store. And I'm going to head over to this side and check out the PlayStation games, which continue to be pretty stacked. Not as stacked as the NES stuff. Easily going to just gloss over it. But then I see this. And I have to ask myself, are these complete games, or are these just boxes chilling? Because I also noticed out on the floor they had boxed NES games and boxed Sega Genesis games, but these ones are just chilling. So yeah, everything back there is actually box and or box and manual only. So I'm gonna spend quite a bit of time here. You know you're seeing some cool shit when they just have a case that has Neo Geo games in it. Never a system I'll probably ever have. But, still cool to look at. What the fuck am I filming here? What am I doing? What is wrong with me? One of these days I'll get this shit on lock. I'll figure out my life. So after talking to the guy for a little bit and picking out a few game boxes, we're looking at one last game box. He's bringing it over. Oh yeah. Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo. Home with a lot of cardboard tonight.
Hey, as long as you don't fall and land on it while you're stepping out.
Yeah, I could literally go broke here. How much are the Donkey Kong ones?
These guys.
Yes.
Pretty much condition affects the price on them. So. And it's
That was about to get worse.
smash.
That was about
None
to be
of us
15.
can be happy.
That was about to be 15 right there. I'll pass on these three just because.
They're not the prettiest, that's
Well,
for sure.
like, I'm tempted on the $10 one because all my Super Nintendo games that I have in box, I have box protectors for. And, like, they kind of look better in that, but with how that one's faded,
Yeah.
like, neither side would look good displayed. How much for the Donkey Kong Country 3 and 2 that you have there? 2 looks like it's jacked.
3 is $20. 2 is 20 as well if you want him because he's in bad shape. I'd do 10 though.
Yeah, do 10 on this. Alright guys, let's take a look at what I was able to find on our journey, our adventure, our quest in New York. Now this isn't New York City. This was Niagara Falls area, and then on the way back we stopped in Albany and hit some game stores. Not as many game stores as I would have liked because of time constraints, but I can't fucking complain. At the first game store, we went to UIE Games. Well, actually, about this one I could complain. I did earlier in the video, so see what I say there. But didn't really find anything that was worth picking up. They were kind of overpriced. They didn't have anything too impressive, and I didn't feel like just like buying some $5 Game Boy games that I didn't care about, because that was about all that they had that was worth it. At the next game store we hit, it was Pastime Legends in Scotia. Just a Scotch. In Scotia, Pastime Legends, really good prices, especially for New York. I was impressed. Picked up 3 games and a box upgrade for an NES game. First up the games, we got Rap Jam Volume 1. Pretty sure that was the only volume they ever came out with. They only wanted $4 for that, which is a pretty good price, because if you look online, it goes from anywhere between 5 and 10. And I also picked up a game I've been looking for, Earth Defense Force. They wanted $8 for this, and I believe it goes for a little bit over 10, maybe 15 online. So can't complain about that, and I'm getting frustrated with using the term slipping, but it fits so perfectly on this. I feel like, yeah, I definitely got this at a pawn shop a few months ago for this exact same price. So everybody's slipping on this game, and I don't know why. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, $24.99. Goes regularly on eBay anywhere between $45 and $55. I've used it as a recouper in the past. I'm going to continue to do so until I don't know, until I'm rich. I don't know. Fuck if I know. It's one of those fucking Fire Emblem games that scares me. There's permadeath in this one. I don't want to play that. Why would I keep it right now? Maybe eventually, but not right now. I don't know. Anyways, also at that game store, I decided to pick up for $15 a box upgrade, which actually had a little bonus in it because it had 2 Manuels for Super Mario Bros. 3. It's got the dusk sleeve, it's got the foam, and unlike the copy I already have, which I'm about to show you in a second, my copy doesn't have a hang tab. And it's because the thrift store that I got it at, all the NES games they had were missing the, not the hang tab, but the top flap. Whatever you call it. Sounds fucking stupid regardless what you call it. But it's a box upgrade, and I'm happy about that. So I actually have a box and 2 manuals extra at this point. Just that this box is a little bit jacked up. Aside from that, though, this box is really nice. It's actually a little bit better, aside from the fact that it doesn't have the top flap. So that had me hyped. That had me hyped because 2 of the other game stores we were planning to hit were also Pastime Legends stores. They were part of a chain in the Albany area. There were 2 that I had on my list to hit. Unfortunately, we were running late on time and we weren't able to make it to them, because when we got to the next game store, which was J Street Video Games in the I fucking forget the names, in the Albany Mall at Colony Center. Definitely go check them out. They have some wonderful prices. They have ridiculous stuff in their case and behind their case and everywhere in their store. I could have spent all day in there. But anyways, let's take a look at the 3 items that I spent $45 on in that store. And none of them are games. Yeah, no games. That's it for games in this pickup video. For $10 each, I picked up the box and manual for F-Zero and Final Fight. Which is not a bad deal if you ask me. F-Zero could be in better condition. It's got a little bit of tear up there. It's got a little bit of fading there. But most importantly, it is not a player's choice, which is one thing I was trying to avoid. And Final Fight I picked up... Look at this cover. I picked it up mainly because I have Final Fight 2 already. And I figured why not start working my way, at least, towards getting the trilogy complete in the box. Final Fight 3, it's a different story. However, there is a 3 that I was able to get that is now 2 items away from being complete in the box, and that will be Final Fantasy 3. I already have the cartridge, I don't have the manual, and I don't have the map, but for $25, I was not going to leave this behind. And I actually cleaned a sticker off here. You see a little bit of sticker residue. So I did clean this up a little bit. Got a little bit of a tear there. But could not leave it behind. It's basically looking at all their boxes behind their counter. They have a ton of stuff on the shelves behind their counter. And one thing I was doing, and I did it at both game stores I hit and found stuff at in this video, I asked if those were complete games. Because a lot of the time, the games that they have back there are games I already have loose. So if you have just the box, a lot of people don't understand how to price out boxes for games. Because realistically, if you think about it, like, this is just a piece of cardboard. So unless you are a collector and you understand the collector's aspect of it, you might undervalue this quite a bit. And while I'm not going to say they did, I think they gave a very fair price on all these boxes I was able to get in this video. So big shout out to J Street Video Games, and a big shout out to the Scotia branch of Pastime Legends. We will probably in the future make a trip all the way up there just to hit all the other Pastime Legends and revisit these 2 stores. That's how much we like them. So shout out to New York for making this video possible and hooking me up on my way home back to Connecticut. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, keep it real, internet. I love you guys, and I love New York.
E to the U to the E, man. Where the hood, where the hood, where the